always stay global, man. We never local, man.
Hear the stories of men and women switching hustles and escaping the odds through entrepreneurship after prison. Not only will these stories inspire you, but also unlock business tips for financial freedom. Let's get it. Thank y'all for tuning in to another dope episode of Escaping the Odds podcast. I am your host, Aaron Smith, where we interview the formerly incarcerated who are now successful entrepreneurs. I have Miss Jackie Lofton here with me from Smiley Property Management, queen of Airbnb, Turo. She's doing her thing, and she's going to tell about her story as well, incarcerated, but get more into the details of running a property management company with Airbnb and also Turo. So I want y'all to stay tuned for that and get some good game. What's going on?
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, likewise. You were on the first show. I had to bring you back because you leveling up. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to make sure that the audience kind of see that transition. You know, you come from an incarceration and really change your life around and get to it. And so you're an example of that. So I wanted to make sure that we are we highlighting those people. So yeah, so a little bit of story. I mean, I know your story, but the audience. Some of us don't have a clue, you know what I mean, what you've been through, and just really want to kind of illustrate that you can do it. So you are from Chicago, but you end up doing some time in Milwaukee area, Wisconsin area. Yeah. Okay, so you can walk us through that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Chicago, the South Side. I never had any run-in with the law here or anything. I did move to a small town in Wisconsin in my early 20s, and unfortunately it was I call it a drug city, mainly white. People that were there, so I literally I had a choice, but I chose to sell drugs. It was just an easy way to get some money. I did earn 2 incarcerations from doing that, just by being in a small town and not that many black people. You kind of stick out like a sore thumb. And not only that, just being in that environment and being, me being black, it just was basically X on my head.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so did 2 incarcerations. The first time I did go to prison boot camp, kind of like a walk in the park for me because I don't have any drug issues. I don't have like any discipline issues. I don't have a terrible background. So that program just wasn't for me. Not saying it didn't help me in certain areas, but I just think as far as me being a criminal, it just wasn't tapping into that part. It was more so like drugs and I'm selling it, so I'm not really using it.
Right.
So yeah, got out and reoffended literally 1 year later.
Wow, okay.
So went right back, finished my time. The feds kind of forgot about me. So I did my state time because I was still on parole. Okay. But once I did get out, I did get charged with fed time, but they did give me probation just because I am a mother and I was getting out doing good. They kind of watched me a little bit too. So, and I think me sitting down for those 24 months was kind of like, this is not for me. And plus my children, you don't need to go through that type of stuff. So definitely don't want to go back there, but definitely a learning experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. You transition. You're doing the Turo now.
Yes.
The Airbnb. How many properties you have?
I have 15 properties.
Wow. So not only just in Chicago, all your properties, where are your properties?
Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, Houston, and Wisconsin.
And you also got Turo, so you just kind of felt that was a compliment to kind of do both together.
Just because you go by what your guests want.
Okay.
So a lot of them was just like, hey, do you know anybody got a car? And I'm just like, no, I don't. Okay. So the light bulb went off like, hey, how about I have a car for them? They won't have to ask me if I know anyone. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and peanut butter and jelly. No, definitely, I love it. So how did you actually start getting into? So which one was first? Airbnb?
Airbnb was first.
Okay, so walk us through that. Like how did you get started with that? I know it's really popular in most major cities.
Yes.
So what was that like for you?
Atlanta was my stomping ground. That's where I actually started.
Okay.
I actually stayed in the Airbnb, and the way they had me check in, I thought was kind of weird. And I saw the office people and was asking them questions, and they were just like, it's a hush subject with Airbnb around here. Just go to your, your room and stuff. So I'm like. So
hold on. So the lease office knew about it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how Atlanta is.
Oh, okay.
So that's when the light bulb went off. Like, So I started looking at my payments to the Airbnb host, and I was like, hey, this was his whole rent that I just paid in one little weekend.
Right. How much did you spend in your mommy asking?
I spent about $1,200.
Wow, for a weekend?
Yeah, it was like a 4-day weekend.
Okay, gotcha.
And like I said, it was a great area, right out by the mall and stuff. But it was like a light bulb that went off because I'm like, hey, he just got this, and I just rented this. What about
Right.
the other weekend?
Right.
This one weekend,
Right,
I
yeah.
paid all the expenses. So
Yeah.
what is he doing with the other weekend money?
Right.
So I think it just went off, and then I had a lot of people around me like, hey, you can do this. You got a property management business already, and
Yeah.
you can do it. And I'm like, I don't know. So I
Yeah.
start renting a bunch of Airbnbs in Atlanta,
Okay.
just to kind of see how they flow in, how
Yeah.
they check me in,
Yeah.
furniture. I was just mimicking every single thing.
Gotcha.
The portals, as far as Airbnb, how they were responding to me.
Okay.
And then I just was like, hey, let me just try one.
Okay.
You know, just to kind of get my feet wet.
Right.
And I was.
So you kind of did like your recon work first, like you
Yes.
actually went in as a
Yeah.
guest, not as a host yet.
Exactly.
Okay,
Just
gotcha.
because I don't have a bunch of people around me that does Airbnbs, I
Yeah.
don't really have anybody
To
to
talk to,
about
yeah,
it. Yeah,
right.
so I just felt like, hey, how about I just teach myself?
Yeah.
And I just kind of just did it like that.
Right.
And it kind of went from one.
Yeah.
And then I think by me applying for so many, I just was just applying thinking, hey, I just want one, but I ended up getting approved for 3 all in one day.
Wow.
So I was kind of
And so how did that work? Like, okay, you went in thinking you're going to get one apartment, but you just applying, you just throwing your darts out there, seeing what stick. And then now you get this place. Like, what was your plan? Like, okay, I got to get furniture. I got to have somebody to management for me. I live in Chicago. These are in Atlanta. So how am I going to do that? So kind of talk to the audience about how you were able to manage from A to Z.
Right. So I started off because I already have the property management business. I
Okay.
thought, hey, let me be my property manager and the owner, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I felt like I couldn't train somebody else if I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
And I actually did corporate leasing with majority of mine, but some of them are personal, and I do
Okay.
own some.
Okay.
So it's a mixture. My business model is mixed.
Okay, cool.
But corporate is usually the kind of way you kind of want to go, just because it is in your business name.
Okay.
You do. I mean, like I said, you can get business credit and actually pay for your furniture and all that type of stuff. But I think by me starting off with personal, it was more like, you know, now I got to make sure I got the budget for this.
Okay.
Make sure that your furniture is okay. It don't have to be super high tech if you just start out. I don't
Okay.
want people to be going all the way and buy $5,000 couches.
Right, yeah.
You get it, and then somebody put a burn hole in it.
There you go, yeah.
You know, so sometimes you just got to kind of do what you can
Okay.
when you're starting off, and then you can kind of upscale to $5,000 couches.
Yeah, right.
So I think once I got myself involved, as far as being property manager, you have to find a maid, cleaner, whatever you want to call them. I think that's the huge thing, because your maids, they are hands-on. They know exactly what's going on. They have to report to you certain things. So if they're not A1, your business will sink.
Okay.
So I think that was my main thing. I found a nice cleaner, a maintenance person. You definitely need that. I know Atlanta and Florida, they do have bug issues, so you know you do have to have some exterminators and stuff, so your own actual people that you can call. Don't call your apartment complex or anything like that.
Why not?
Just because they figure you are managing these properties and you are the one who actually want these and actually gonna, you know, lease them out to other people.
Yeah.
You need to take care of your own maintenance, and you need to take care, you know, and it's just a incentive to sell them as well.
Okay.
Like, hey, I have my own cleaning person, I have my own maintenance person.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about nothing. So a lot of them like to hear that, because it's like, hey, that's a win-win.
It's like we don't have to put that money into it.
Exactly.
Apartment turnover and all that. You handle it and all
Exactly.
that. Okay.
So once I got all that, the furniture just comes automatically, and then kind of post on Airbnb where you actually make your account and put your actual apartments on there. And like I said, I was only on there for 2 hours, and mine was booked.
Wow.
And it was just a little bitty 1-bedroom apartments, and that's another thing. I know a lot of people try and go big and stuff like that. It's just like a trial and error. So I think I just kind of stayed in my lane and picked something that was reasonable. So I just started off with 1 bedroom.
Okay.
But they actually stayed booked more than the bigger apartments. So,
Okay. Why do you think that?
I think because people just really don't even be in these Airbnbs.
Okay.
Most of them just want their clothes in there and just
Okay.
have a place maybe to crash for a few hours or something like that. But usually people, when they rent, especially in bigger cities like Atlanta and Miami, those are party cities.
There you go, yeah.
And Houston is as well. So it's like nobody really stays in those rooms.
Right,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And most of them don't even have parties in there because they're so little, you know? So I think that was another reason why I was like, hey, let me just stick to what I know. But that was a huge thing, just kind of getting your staff in order. A lot of people are just like, hey, I'll do all this. It's kind of hard when you have a lot of properties.
Okay.
I know for me, I am not from Atlanta or down south or anything like that, so it's like I had to be super hands-on with getting the unit going. But once I got a property manager involved, then she handles everything.
And what's normally the cost to pay for that property management firm?
My property manager actually made 10% of my actual booking.
Okay.
Kind of high, but like I said, if you have your place booked and you know you got multiple properties, that's kind of like nothing. I
Okay.
know in the month of July, my property manager actually made $3,000.
Oh, wow.
Like, and she actually had another job as well, because it's usually just telephone. Everything
Right.
is digital. You don't have
So
to be
let me
hands-on.
do the math, bro. I'm a numbers guy, right?
Okay.
If she made 3,000, which is 10%, there's some algebra going on right now, right? 10%. So X revenue is about 30,000 you made for that month.
Yes, I did. Yes, and I did that for 3 months straight. And mainly Miami was the big money maker.
Wow.
And that's why I was just like, oh God, like I gotta saturate Miami because
Right.
that's where it is. But Atlanta just stays booked.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like Atlanta, because it's like, even though you may not even have the best property, it's just like people just want to come down.
Wow.
That's just, and Houston is the same way.
Okay.
They just want to come party and do whatever they have to do. And if you don't want to deal with partiers or people that are just in and out, you can go into nurses. I have pilots in one from the airlines, Delta. So sometimes you just gotta go on these different sites. They have all kind of booking sites for different type of careers. I even had actors stay in mine. They inbox me, like the casting people, and then they just like, hey, do you have an Airbnb for this person, and this amount of days, and that's it. So it's
Wow. So you can target a particular industry.
yeah.
That's super unique and creative.
It is. And I think that's why I was just like, this is my niche.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, this apartment can be just for partying. This apartment can be for the nurses. This one can be for the pilots. So it's just a mixture, and it actually opens up your whole little business model.
Yeah.
You are like catering to certain.
You diversifying.
Yeah, basically.
At the same time, yeah. That's really smart. I want to kind of go back into the corporate leasing part of it.
Yes.
I know that a lot of people are doing it, signing up with the Airbnb in their own names.
Yes.
What a corporation does it have to be established? Like, when I hear the word corporation, some people may think, oh man, I have to be in business maybe 5 years before I can get started. So how true is that or not?
I wouldn't know, only because my business was 3 years old.
Okay.
So, but I don't foresee them like being super, not actually letting you stay there because of that. I think it's all how you sell yourself.
Okay.
A lot of people, you can have a business for 10 years, you can have a business for a month, but if
Yeah.
you go in there and actually talk to these people
Yeah.
and tell them what your actual business model is and who
Yeah.
that you're managing this, you got
Yeah.
this type of people coming in here, you screen them. So it's basically like you're selling yourself to the apartment complex, but you don't have to be like super established. They don't check your business credit.
Okay.
Mainly it's just making sure that you are incorporated with the state.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. But otherwise, I mean, I went the corporate way with some of mine only because I did use business credit to furnish them and things
Okay.
like that.
Gotcha.
And it just kind of protects your personal name as well. Because I mean, anything can happen, and here
For
he
sure.
is with your credit messed up on your real name.
Exactly, yeah. No, definitely, I love it. Turo, an obvious complimentary service to kind of add to Turo, into Airbnb. I always wonder, like, why is it that Airbnb or Turo just don't link up together, right?
It's probably a
You know what I mean?
competition.
Like, yes, it's something,
Probably
right?
different people, I'm
You know,
sure.
because I'm thinking, like, when I book a hotel, I'm going out of state, right? Before, when rental cars had cars available, it's like, okay, let me book a rental too. So the two kind of go together, peanut butter and jelly, right? And so that was the main reason why you started the Turo part of it.
I did. A lot of people kept
So,
asking me for
yeah,
vehicles,
yeah.
Especially around All-Star Weekend.
Okay.
Like in Atlanta, there was no vehicles. People were like in U-Hauls.
Yeah.
Uber wasn't even responding to people because they
Right.
didn't have enough drivers.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the light bulb went off because they were like, "Hey, you got a car? You got a car too?" I'm like, "No, I don't have no car." But,
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Hey, I need to have a car, with every
Yeah.
Airbnb I have because it'll be convenient." And once they book, I tell them, hey, we have deals on car rentals.
Wow.
Even other Turo. If I don't have the car they want, I do have other Turo people that I can recommend them to. Send me
Okay.
a link. I'll send it to the guest, and hopefully they book. The same with Miami. I do that with boats, jet skis.
Wow.
I don't personally own them, but
Yeah.
I can't go right.
I mean, that's the name of the game, though, right?
Yeah.
Just to be able to control that asset,
Exactly.
right? You don't have to
That way
always
you are
own it.
accommodating your guests as
Yeah.
well. I would love if somebody said, hey, staying in my house, I got a kayak, a boat, and a jet ski.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I ain't got to go nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's
Sure.
what my big issue was, just accommodating.
So basically, it sounds like you're becoming a concierge kind of a service
Pretty
as well.
much,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. Even with their birthdays,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Anniversaries. Hey, do you want some roses? Do you want this? I know honeymooners stay with me. I decorated the room.
Yeah.
Just like different little touches that you can actually bring to kind of make you stand out.
Okay. So you have 15 pieces of property now, right?
Yes.
How many cars do you have?
I
on
only
tour?
have 2 cars.
Okay, all right. Now, are there certain cars that you're seeing like, okay, this is pretty popular. I'm gonna find my lane with this, as you did with Airbnb?
Right. I know mainly Miami because the other states I'm not hands on.
Okay.
So that scared me a little bit. So I was
Okay.
like, hey, I live in Miami. I can just go meet the people. If you know what I'm saying, they stand in my house, I can get in the car too, whatever. I think that I was just nervous because I was like, holy crap, like I only have a pickup truck and an Audi, it's not like too much, but the pickup truck actually books more than the other cars. So,
oh, wow.
Because people want to bring their boats, their jet skis and stuff like that. So I know that that's how it actually started. I don't mind it. Like I said, it's just a little more hands-on for me. But I would love to have it at every one of mine in different states. But like I said, I have to make sure I have people there to kind of, take care of it for me too.
So what's some of the biggest headaches you're seeing with the Turo, like the management of your vehicles?
Turo, the drop off and pickup.
Okay.
I just think it's a huge thing with me, only because I don't like to be seen. I'm just a manager that just like to be in the background and just kind of do everything.
Yeah.
But with Turo, with me, it's just super hands-on. Whereas my apartments and everything, the condos and stuff, like I can just give you a code and you can just go in. Whereas Turo, I haven't found the right niche of me just saying, hey, the key is here, you go here. You know, so I think that's just me finding my own way to kind of stay in the background.
Gotcha.
Just because I just don't like to be on the forefront.
Yeah. No, I get it. So Turo versus Airbnb.
I like Airbnb better.
Okay.
Only because I just like homes.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't like the vehicles. It's a lot for me. When you have 15 other properties, so it's like I'm trying to balance it, and it's not balancing right. But I'm just like, hey, let me just try and ease my way into Turo. But I really like Airbnb.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So how do you keep your vehicles from getting stolen? I know that's a big problem. Okay.
Yes, that did happen to me in Atlanta.
Okay.
I do have a tracking device.
All right.
So
which company do you go through for that? For the artists that want to do?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of signed up. I don't remember the name of the device or whatever, but I just went right on Amazon and got that.
Okay.
Just hook it up on my phone. I just see the app and stuff, and that's pretty much it. That's how I actually found my car in Atlanta. And then I thank God I had a cutoff switch on that one too. So,
okay. Yeah. So screening your guests for Airbnb and even also Turo, like what are some of the things that you're doing to kind of minimize or mitigate that risk of any kind of issues?
First of all, I do set my prices a little higher, just because, not saying bad people don't have no money or anything like that. It's just when you set your prices to a certain level that makes it, hey, you're not playing, this is my price. Usually people that can afford that usually aren't like super people that's gonna damage something or something like that. And I always screen them as far as their ID. Make sure they put their face up to the ID when they send me a picture, that kind of stuff, because people do it all the time. You had this person rent and then somebody else show up, so it's just a matter of you actually making sure like, hey, this is the person, and that's it. I haven't had too many bad experiences with that, thank goodness, but I like Turo. It's just I felt like I had to be more hands-on.
Okay, so are you thinking about going into theme Airbnbs?
I am. I actually am closing on land in Florida.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a glamping site.
What's that?
Those are like little bubble tents.
Okay.
About 6 of them, and then people just come there like they're going camping, but it's called glamping because it looks like a hotel inside.
Really?
So not like your typical campground where you got an air mattress and bonfire. Like I'm having a kitchen in there. Yeah. Having like a little patio for you to sit down at. To kind of make it like a real resort type of thing, but in a camping site. Okay. Yeah. So it's like Airbnb. It's still hospitality. I just love doing hospitality.
Get you. I definitely can see that. So under $2,000, can I start with an Airbnb, or I need more than that?
You need way more.
Okay.
Because
break down the cost for me on Airbnb.
Honestly, my 1-bedrooms were $5,000
to start. That's with like what am I getting? Furniture, management. Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, furniture, your linens, your cookware. Okay. I don't do too many toiletries because I usually go to the Dollar Tree, so that doesn't really break the bank on me. But the furniture is really the big thing. Okay. That's because you want to make it like you want to stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you don't have to get nothing high tech at first or anything. Most of my stuff came from Amazon and IKEA. Okay. Only because during the pandemic, the furniture stores was backed up. They couldn't even give me delivery, so it was like, hey, I gotta go to Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, so it does add up.
Okay.
And like I said, you have to hire TVs. That was another huge one. You know, you have to have them mounted on the wall. You got to hire somebody. So it's just a lot, but at the same time, it'll make your unit run smoothly and actually look a little more decent with $5,000.
Gotcha. And speaking of looking decent, let's talk about photography. That's very important, I know, right?
That's where the expenses come in as well.
Okay.
Your pictures are everything.
Okay.
If you find a photographer, stick with them. I mean, my photographers know, hey, don't you go nowhere. When I need you, you got to come over here because your pictures actually sells your unit.
Yeah.
These people don't know you from a can of paint, but when they see your pictures, it's like, oh, I want to stay here.
Okay, that's the same with Turo as well?
It is, but you already know what kind of guy you want. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you when you go on tour, you like, okay, I want a Mercedes. So it's 10 of them on there. You just like, I gotta pick one.
Okay.
You understand? Gotcha. When Airbnb is just like
a little bit more
one
intimate.
bedroom, but then you got like 30. You like, wow, I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So I think Turo's way easier with that.
Okay. So on that $5,000 investment, and of course this varies. We know that.
Yeah.
But $5,000 over a year time, what did you turn that into?
I turned that into 15.
Okay.
Because I just kept on going. I just kept rewashing the money.
Okay.
So I didn't see a return on my investment until 6 months. Because I literally scaled 15 Airbnbs in 3 months. So once, that's why I was like, hey, I'm quitting. People kept saying, go, keep going. I'm like, no, I gotta stop. I ain't even seen my money back from this. You know, because I keep on just going to get more units. And when I finally sat down, it was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, like, I should have probably kept going. But, you know, you need to rest and make sure you're doing actually managing your properties. That's another huge thing.
Okay.
A lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to get an Airbnb and just put it on the site and that's it.
Yeah.
No, you have to be hands-on. Like, I do monthly inspections. You got to make sure your maids is doing their job. You know, a lot of them can say they cleaned it, and then you go in there and you see a burn hole. Like, hey, why you didn't tell me that was in there? You're like, so it's a lot of hands-on. I feel like that people need to be aware of, because a lot of people just think, I'm just gonna get an apartment and just make some money off of it. No, you need to be like hands-on, especially when this is your money and your business. Like, I'm gonna make sure my stuff is on one point. Okay?
Yeah, no.
I make sure I cover there every month.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say it's a easy six-figure business for you now? Now that you
Now that I did it, my only issue was I did so many, and I do still have kids and family. I still have my own expenses and stuff. So I think when I did them, I wasn't home for 3 months.
Oh wow.
You understand? So that's because that's just me. Once I learn something, I just keep going until I can't go no more.
Yeah.
So
kind of get a little compulsive with it.
It was, and I had to stop.
Right. Yeah.
15, you like, hold on,
I
gotta go home. You know. So I think that's just me. I didn't like that, but I finally was like, I need to just stop.
Can you talk about renting versus owning your Airbnb?
Yes, I have a mixture. So I own most of mine, and I do rent. The other ones are rentals. I do not like the rentals. Only because I am an owner, so I know that only answer to me.
Okay.
Whereas with renting, you got to answer to a leasing office.
Okay.
So I think me being me, I just wanted to make sure, just so I can show people and just so I can scale so many, but my end goal is all owning. I do not want any more rentals. That's just me, especially by me having so many and then they're all different. I was just like, I like owning them better.
Yeah.
It's just me I have to deal with. You know, like I don't really have to deal with anybody else. I can paint, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about nobody. So I think, you can start off renting, but your end goal definitely needs to be owning all of your properties. Just for a better peace of mind too.
Gotcha, yeah. And so with the Turo, are you buying flat out or you're leasing out, of course, or financing?
Yeah, my two are leased through my business.
Okay.
So like I said, I just chose that way only because I did have business credit. So it's like, hey, and plus I don't want too many things on my personal credit because I do have mortgages on there.
Okay.
So that was another thing with me. Like, hey, I don't want all this stuff on my credit. My debt to income ratio gonna go down. So I did switch over to the business side.
Okay.
And I did like my cars that way.
Okay.
Insurance is a little higher.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just didn't want my debt to income ratio to kind of get messed up. So I just stuck with my business cars.
Wow. So glamping, that's what's moving next for you, right?
It is.
So 3 years from now, because I know in this industry it moves fast. So 5 years can be that's like a long time in this industry, right? 24 to 36 months, what are we looking like?
I'm looking like going to the the West Coast finally, because I don't have any on that side.
Okay.
I actually declined my Phoenix Airbnbs, because I do not like, it's too hot in Arizona for me. So, but I hopefully in 2 years, I actually do have my glamping site up and going. And I'm actually switching over to RVs.
Wow.
A lot of people don't understand, like, you can put your own trailer on there and rent it out to people to come there, or you can just rent the spaces out.
Yeah.
And it's paying for itself.
Yeah.
So I just want to, mobile homes, all of that stuff. So hopefully it's going to have a different business model with all different kinds.
Okay,
you know.
cool. So you also have like a workshop that you do for Airbnb and Turo, or just Airbnb?
Just Airbnb.
Okay.
I might just add Turo on there because I literally just did Turo. So I'm just like, I don't want to tell people, and then I'm still on my trial and error.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Whereas Airbnb, I'm like, I got that down back.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think my next one, I do probably need to just ease Turo in there
Okay.
because it goes hand in hand.
Okay.
Like you said, they just need to just join together.
Yeah. So what did they get with Airbnb from you with this course?
They'll get the actual corporate lease model. So showing them, hey, you got to start your business, telling them how to start their business. So I have the steps in that. How to talk to the leasing offices, because a lot of people do not know the verbiage. So I'll actually give you the verbiage for that.
I'm about to put you on the spot.
Well,
I'm Mr. Leasing Officer. Knock, knock, knock. You come in, you trying to lease one of my places. What do you say, or what do you say? A quick 10-second, 20-second to get my attention and say, okay, she's about her business.
Sure, yes. So I have a property management business that I cater to pilots, nurses. So I will actually come in here, get some of your units, and make sure the rent is paid, the guests are screened, my maintenance is done, the homes are clean, no noise, no nothing, and you don't have to worry about anything but getting your rent.
All right, deal.
Easily said. But and I know a lot of people do calls and emails. I just think that's super impersonal. I know me, I've never done that. I actually went in like I was finna get an apartment, and then once I got in the office.
This ain't what you read, this is what you did.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
all right, okay.
So I went in the office and actually talked to them and like let them know. Because sometimes over the phone and over the email, they can say whatever to you.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you get in your face and you got to sell yourself. You're a salesman now.
Definitely.
So it's up to the leasing officer after that.
Yeah.
But like I said, owning is way better.
Yeah. So are you seeing that like in places like markets of Atlanta and Houston that they're a little bit more open to it opposed to here in Chicago?
Atlanta was very open during the pandemic, but once the pandemic uplifted, like everything came back open, they started taxing us.
Okay.
So they saw that we
Making
were
money.
making so much money.
Right.
So Atlanta decided, hey, we want some of that money too.
Exactly, yeah.
So they eased their way on there. Now a lot of people got scared, like, hey, I don't want them in my business because you got to register your units and stuff like that. But I just was like, hey, if you're doing it properly, why not?
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of cities are like that. Even Florida, you have to have a permit. Illinois, you have to have a permit.
Okay.
Like I said, you can do it under the radar. I just do not suggest it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So let everybody know where they can find you and cop that workshop with you and kind of let them know how they can kind of get in touch with you if they need to.
I'll be having a workshop right before Thanksgiving, and you can find me on Facebook, Jacques Lofton, or you can go on Instagram. I am Jacques R. So IAMJACQUESR. Just shoot me an inbox. I'll send you the link to sign up, and we can just go from there. I do mentoring as well.
Okay.
So if anybody just need me to kind of guide you on what you need to do. I know a lot of people just like, hey, I want to do Airbnbs, but I think people don't know the whole steps to it. You understand? So I think I'm just trying to help you do it properly.
There you go. Got you. Well, you heard it here. Miss Lofton doing her thing with Airbnb, Turo as well, 15 properties, a couple vehicles. Really looking forward to what she's going to kind of take this empire to in the next couple of years or so. There you have it, Escaping the Odds, where we interview the formerly incarcerated who are now successful entrepreneurs doing their thing throughout the country, leveling up, switching hustles. You all can find this podcast, 3rd season, on escapingtheodds.com, YouTube as well. Check us out for the merchandise, Switch Hustles. And again, opportunities over penitentiaries. Peace.